Well, good morning and welcome to Morning Gospel Fuel with Mr. G. It is Friday, August 12th, the 19th week of Ordinary Time, and the feast day of Saint Jane Frances de Chantal. And she founded a religious order called the Order of the Visitation of Mary in the 1500s? Let me double check. 1600s. But yeah, otherwise, of course, she's from France with a name like that. And she, the order that she founded, they accepted women who were rejected by other orders due to either poor health or age. And then whenever people criticized her for who she was letting enter into the religious order, she said, "What do you want me to do? I like sick people myself, and I'm on their side." So she included those and lived a great life, a saintly life. And she is the patron saint of forgotten people, widows, and parents who are separated from their children. Today's gospel is from Matthew chapter 19, verses 3 through 12. Let's begin in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. Amen. Some Pharisees approached him and tested him, saying, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any cause whatsoever?" He said in reply, "Have you not read that from the beginning the Creator made them male and female, and said, 'For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh'? Therefore," I just lost my spot. "So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, no human being must separate." They said to him, "Then why did Moses command that the man give the woman a bill of divorce and dismiss her?" He said to them, "Because of the hardness of your hearts, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, unless the marriage is unlawful, and marries another, commits adultery." His disciples said to him, "If that is the case of a man with his wife, it is better not to marry." He answered, "Not all can accept this word, but only those to whom that it is granted. Some are incapable of marriage because they were born so, some because they were made so by others, some because they have renounced marriage for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Whoever can accept this ought to accept it." All right, so we have a lot going on here. We see the Pharisees trying to trap Jesus into kind of like permitting like divorce is okay. And they even refer to the Old Testament, but then Jesus corrects them, saying that was never so. That was never the way it was meant to be. And he does, and then some people use the pigeonhole and kind of unless the marriage is unlawful, but people can rationalize that in their minds. Which is why they need the church to determine if it's unlawful or not. In fact, that's why the annulment process in the Catholic Church, whenever it comes to divorce, takes a substantial amount of time, 1 to 2 years, to do all the investigative work, to say the church does not approve of this marriage and it was never valid in the first place due to various factors, which I'm not going to get into because I'm not a canon lawyer, but marriage is serious, divorce is serious, human relationship is serious. And then, but we see, the disciples even are admitting that marriage is super difficult. It's a dying of oneself for the other person. And so they're even confused. They say, who can accept this? That commitment issue that we have, even more so in today's society. But then Jesus says, of course, some are incapable of marriage because they were born so. I don't know if that's alluding to homosexuality or just being born infertile, which unfortunately, like some people don't learn until they're married, or people that have just renounced their marriage for the kingdom of God, and celibacy. Um, and so, like, that's something that people always like to kind of attack on the Catholic priests. All the issues would be fixed if they didn't have to be celibate. But that's a very limited perspective and understanding on priesthood and holy orders and why it's so. Very human, but very human, natural reaction to that. But either way, I think the main goal for today is to focus on, making sure we know the difference between celibacy and chastity. Celibacy is refraining from all sexual relations for the betterment of the kingdom of God, for primarily meant for religious and priests and so on and so forth, which we're more familiar with. But chastity is sexuality that is well ordered according to the path or the vocation of the individual. But it's well ordered love. In fact, all people are called to be chaste, no matter what vocation. The vocation of priesthood and celibacy, that is how they live out their chastity. But a married couple, they are still called to live a well-ordered, structured sexual life, where they're not just having sex just to use each other. They should still be able to refrain from having sex for the good of the kingdom, but knowing and accepting and realizing that the sexual act is a good intended by God to build his kingdom and to show true love for each other and not lust. So, how is it in your life? Do you live out chastity? And how are you growing in the virtue of chastity? Because it is very difficult. It is a very human, common issue in today's society. So, with all that being said, have a great day. God bless. Keep it real. In the Father, Son, and Spirit. Amen.